Welcome to Beyond the Review, customer conversations about digital transformation success, presented by Raven Intelligence. I'm your host and the founder and CEO of Raven Intel, Bonnie Tinder. Well, welcome. I'm excited to be joined today by Laureen Iannucci, Director of Human Resources at Star Nursery, and Ryan Gillen, UKG Pro Implementation Consultant at HRchitect. Laureen brings practical perspective as an HR leader navigating digital transformation, and Ryan has been a longtime trusted advisor supporting Star Nursery through multiple successful UKG projects. Today, we're going to explore how their partnership has evolved, the business outcomes that they've achieved together, and what makes their collaboration really a model for long-term success in HCM transformation. So Laureen and Ryan, welcome. And Laureen, why don't we start off with you? If you could just tell us a little bit about yourself and about Star Nursery.
Great. Well, I am Laureen. I'm the HR Director of Star Nursery in Las Vegas, Nevada. We're a small retail plant nursery. We have about 16 locations in 3 states in the Southwest. We've been around for about 40 years, started with our owner who sold plants out of the back of his truck on the weekends and became a big conglomerate. We have not only do we sell plants, we sell aggregate rock because you can't have grass in Las Vegas anymore. And we have a truck fleet. So we like to say that we're a trucking department that sells plants, but we service all of the 3 states, Utah, Nevada, and Arizona, and help people make their homes beautiful and provide options for them.
Amazing. And about how many employees do you have?
We have about 700 now, probably going to climb to about 750. We're in our busy season in the spring, and then it will level off a little bit in the summer when it gets to be 120 outside, and then it will kind of slow down a little bit.
And what is your role with the organization?
So I oversee all of HR, so all the people side. So hiring, payroll, staffing, benefits, employee relations, all of anything compliance that's related to people. That's what my team and I do.
Amazing. Thank you so much for that. And Ryan, what about you? Could you tell us a little bit about what you do at HRchitect and what your area of focus is when working with clients like Star Nursery?
Sure. I'm a senior implementation consultant for HRchitect. I've been in the payroll industry for more than a decade. I've worked specifically with UKG for about 9 years now. 6 of those were directly at UKG before moving on to the partner side. I do everything from full system configurations, implementations to post-live support for really anything that a client needs. My main focus is on core payroll and HR products, but we do have other resources at HRchitect that can step in if anything is needed for other modules like onboarding or benefit hub.
Great, thank you. And Laureen, could you give us a little bit of background about your project? So what caused you to look to UKG as a new HCM solution, and sort of what were some of the business drivers behind you making a change or a transformation in this area?
So when we made the change, I was new to the company and we were having trouble with paying our people correctly. I know it's a minor thing, but getting their pay correctly is kind of what we should do if we want to pay our people. And so we were having far too many issues. So we had to make a change so that our people's pay was correct, especially in Nevada, where there are some specific requirements about our paying, and they're kind of weird. So we wanted to get that fixed. So UKG was the program that we selected. And for a long time, it worked really, really well with us. So
great. And how did you and Ryan, I understand that you guys have been working together for a long time. How did your relationship first start, and what led you to partner with HRchitect?
So Ryan was our implementation guy when we went to UKG. So we were in the middle of COVID. We were crazy. Nevada was closed down. So lots of people weren't working and they had money and they didn't have anything to do. So they had to come to Star Nursery and buy plants to fix their yards up. And so we were crazy busy. And on top of that, we were integrating to UKG. So Ryan was our savior, so to speak. He really helped us go through all the processes. Our prior program was very in disorganization. And so trying to find all the data that we needed to implement correctly, get all the pay rules and all the GI items, all of that. And that's how we met Ryan. And he helped us through all that. He held our hands. He gave us great direction and training. He taught us. And that's how we met him.
Awesome. So really became an extension of your team, it sounds like, especially during the craziness of COVID era.
Well, actually, we gave Ryan an award last year. We gave him the Employee of the Year award. He actually has a trophy and it says Star Nursery Employee of the Year because without him helping us supplement our needs, we wouldn't be able to pay our people and do what's right by our team. So we think a lot of him.
Wow, truly an extension
Yeah.
to get an employee award. That is awesome. Well, Ryan, why don't you tell me a little bit from your perspective what it was like working with Star Nursery? What were some of the things that you did early on to help, get the project organized? And, what are some of the things that you really focus on when working with customers like Star Nursery?
Yeah, so just to kind of piggyback on what Lorraine said, I feel like I've really kind of been brought into their, Star Nursery family. Even after the implementation, there was a time period where we didn't work together because they were at post live and I was still implementing clients. And during that time, we would, still exchange text message or a quick phone call of, hey, could you tell me how to do this kind of thing. So we maintained that relationship and that connection even after the implementation. Um, Generally, what I say for clients for an ideal implementation is you want a team that's big enough to complete all the tasks to get everything done. Because my joke is that an implementation is basically a full-time job on top of your full-time job. So you want a team that's big enough to complete all the tasks that you need, but you really need a strong central decision maker. Sometimes when the team is too big, it can become paralysis by analysis, where every decision becomes a committee meeting, and it becomes difficult to turn the ship. And I think that that's what Star Nursery does really well, and made their project work well. I'm not just close with Lorraine, but her whole team that is her family, so to speak, that can help get the tasks done. But Lorraine is the central decision maker. That whenever I say, hey, look, we need a decision to make on this, Lorraine could make the decision that's best for their company.
I love it. I heard it once said that there should be a two pizza rule. If it takes more than two pizzas to feed the team for lunch, the team's too big. So I love that. So large enough in order to handle all the tasks, but small enough so it doesn't turn into bureaucracy every time a decision needs to be
Yeah.
made. Yeah, that's a really interesting way to put it. I love that. And Laureen, from your perspective, what were the different phases of the project? I mean, this has been a 4+ year relationship that you've had with HRchitect. How have you looked at sort of the different phases of your evolution of the UKG suite?
So initially, obviously, it was just integration, getting all the data from our previous provider into UKG so that we could process payroll and get things going. But then over the years, we've added more features that we relied on HRchitect to help us with. So benefit enrollment platform where we could do open enrollment. So what's nice about HRchitect is that they have so much or so many resources there. Their team members, someone knows something about what we need. So we were able to work with Jody for open enrollment, and that helped us make it more seamless and paperless so our people could go on and get what they needed for the benefits and see what it cost and have it flow correctly when the time came for the new benefit year. So we did that. We have worked on becoming paperless. We used to have a new hire packet that was 81 pages tall, and we have been able to make that almost all paperless. And we actually utilized HRchitect to help us do that, where they helped us put very complicated forms into the portal so that our applicants can complete them with the data that we need to be in compliance with FMCSA, because we think that we're a trucking department that sells plants. And so they were able to help us. So Marcus helped us do that. And so what's nice is that in many of the things that we've done after the integration, they've helped us to improve. They've gotten our GL correct. So our accounting department is happy with the resources and the results so that they can take care of our banking. They helped us with year end so that all the W-2s get out and all the ACA compliance gets out. So we've had so much of just phased in bringing UKG into our world here, and HRchitect has been just an amazing partner to help us go through each phase to integrate into that program.
Amazing. And Ryan, I mean, obviously the relationship between the two organizations is so strong. You know, when looking at you know, partnering with clients like Star Nursery, what is it that you think, what are the foundational principles that make these partnerships successful?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. I think it's always easier when you build the relationship directly with the individuals and you see yourselves as team members. It's not a confrontational you know, relationship looking for one side to blame or scapegoat. It's essentially that the consultant is part of the team, right? And a team member. I have the same goal that they do of you know, getting whatever done. Another thing that makes Star Nursery so amazing is the flexibility that they have. Laureen just mentioned a bunch of different projects that we have worked on. Um, when you've got a partner consultant, it's kind of like you're on retainer, right? You just have to be open to anything that comes in. And of course, sometimes that can come in unexpectedly with a very short time frame, which can be complex. The open enrollment that Laureen mentioned, I think we had maybe a week, Laureen, something like that to get the open enrollment done. But honestly, one of my favorite things about HRchitect as a company is my teammates never make a big deal for us to request assistance on very short notice. So when that came up, I was able to reach out to those resources that Laureen said and said, I've got very short notice that I need some help getting this done, and had, you know, people jump in and help. And Laureen and her team is flexible enough to know that if I'm bringing somebody in, I'm vouching for them, I'm vetting for them. I wouldn't, you know, entrust a inexperienced or a bad consultant and for their projects.
So it's really a two-way street, the flexibility of the client and Star Nursery, and the trust factor that they need to have that you're going to bring in the right people. And the fact that HRchitect, when you have something that needs to get done, it's all hands on deck, you know, regardless of who's assigned to the actual project. And, you know, I'll say, and having worked with HRchitect for several years as well, and seeing all your reviews out on Raven Intelligence, that is a common theme that we hear is, you know, it's a truly a team and a people effort that's so appreciated by clients. So, Laureen, you mentioned a couple very specific, benefits that this project brought you. So, reducing paper, going from an employee handbook of a process book of 81 pages down to something that is electronic. Um, what were some of the other impacts that you felt from the implementation of this solution? I mean, are there things that your employees have really appreciated about your new system? What are some of those tangible benefits beyond just some of the paperless environment that you might share with us?
So for our managers, some of the things that help them is the reporting that we're able to get, which Ryan's a whiz at BI, so he can do almost anything, where they can manage their team. Recently, he helped us with a report that came from 5 or 6 different touch points of drug testing and training. And he pulled a report that pulled all of it together so our managers know who is certified to do this and who's not certified. And it keeps us out of trouble because we're in compliance and they can see the results. Oh, so and so is missing this drug test, so I need to get that done. And that is because HRchitect helped us with the right reporting for that. So that takes a lot off of their plate. One of the things that HRchitect's helping us do now is to create a template. We're going to change the way we pay some of our drivers. And so we need to be able to import productivity time into the payroll system somehow to pay them. And because our team has so much confidence in Ryan, our CFO reached out to him today and said, hey, we want a template for this. Can you help us come up with that so we can then get our people paid again correctly, but in a new way so that it streamlines how they are compensated and they will know what their pay is at any point in the day rather than what we're doing currently. So those are some of the things that our people are going to be able to see right off the bat. This is what I worked and this is how my pay is going to look. So the managers have utilized the onboarding where it's taken a lot of the work off of their plate because instead of sitting down with the applicant and going page by page, the applicant can acknowledge, read, keep copies of the documents, and then the managers can sign off as well. So some of those things. And then we have to keep accounting happy. So we can keep accounting happy because the data that's coming through the payroll system is accurate. So they can do all their portions of tax filings and their reporting. And the auditors are happy because the auditors can log in as an employee and grab all the reports that they need. So it really just branches out to everybody. And it has saved a lot of time and effort to be on the system and have such a great support network through HRchitect.
That's awesome. And you mentioned at the top of this interview that the reason that you changed systems was because of the inaccuracy and the issues with payroll. And it really sounds like that's been covered and more in terms of the visibility of pay information to both employees and managers, which is great to hear. And this last question is one I think for both of you. Thinking about a customer that might be in your shoes right now, who's about ready to do a change, a transformation, a change of a payroll system, what would be some of the advice you would have for somebody else, now looking back at some of what you've gone through? What would you tell somebody else?
It's really tough going through the process. Salespeople are great. They tell you what you think that you want to hear, and everybody has the next best product. So I think taking their time and really getting references to ask, how does the product work in your environment? Get those references, and if the sales folks aren't going to give you references, that might be a red flag. But speak to people who are using the product in the way that you intend to use it. I think that's the best thing that you can do is to get references, find out who's working with it, how they're using it, and then even ask for a negative reference. So who left you and why did they leave you? Because if they had problems similar to what we might have, that might be noteworthy as well. But I think for me, it's just getting those references and making sure that people, at least in our neighborhood, who are using it the way that we're going to use it, and it's going to work.
I love it.
So,
Trust but verify.
yeah.
And really, our site at Raven Intelligence is all about voice of the customer as it relates to not so much the software, but the implementation and the services partner in like HRchitect. Certainly around the product of UKG itself. But as a peer review site owner, I wholeheartedly agree with that sentiment of make sure you get customers just like you and that you know what others are saying. So great advice there. What about you, Ryan?
I think for me, knowing the scope of the project that you're going to undertake and making sure that you can dedicate the resources and the time to accomplish it. I think a lot of times teams maybe want to move forward quickly on a project, which I completely understand. But if you're not able to dedicate the time and the resources to it, obviously either the project won't come out the way that you want it to, or it'll wind up getting delayed. There's that old management expression that it's if you get distracted while you're at your computer, it takes 20 minutes to get back on track. I feel like with long-term projects, whether you're talking about a 6-month implementation or you're talking about, a 2-month open enrollment, I feel like with those, if each time that you have to go back and forth asking a clarifying question, if it takes, a week or a couple weeks to get back on the topic of the project, I feel like it can make you have to start from scratch and remember where you were and where in the project it was. So just making sure that you can dedicate the time and the resources to whatever the project is, and engaging any of those resources that might be available to you, whether that's from partner consultant or temporary agencies, whatever you need.
Yeah, I would also say momentum and keeping momentum in these projects is so important. And we see when there are projects that really present challenges, it's because of churn of people, it's churn of goals and things like that. And when you can keep that consistent throughout the course of a project, that's really when they're successful. Thank you for that. Well, I appreciate both of your time and the input. Last question that I have, Laureen, I'm gonna have you close us out here. Tell us about your future plans with HRchitect and where you're going to go from here.
So actually, I think our next phase is we're going to move to a different platform under UKG. And thankfully, Ryan is getting certified with that. So he's going to be able to help us as we move into a new and improved process to even get better support for our team and help our managers be able to manage their stores out of their phones. So I think that's the next step. And we're super thankful that Ryan's getting all ready for us in that new platform.
Oh, great to hear. Great to hear. Well, again, thank you both. Good luck to both Star Nursery and HRchitect. We'll look forward to hearing the rest of the story in the months and years to come.